are 10 of the craziest things that have happened in the first 100 days of the Trump administration. There's no question that this has been one of the most chaotic and corrupt and cruel first 100 days of any presidency ever. Number one, indiscriminately firing hundreds of thousands of public employees. First time ever a president has intentionally created unemployment. Number two, withholding hundreds of billions of dollars from our communities. This is money for cancer research, food assistance, Head Start, early childhood education for low-income families. Number three, the lawless removal of people from the United States. The Abrego Garcia story is just one. It's zero process removal, meaning that there was no process. He was just removed. Also, they've removed toddlers, infants, some of whom had serious diseases, including cancer. Number four, the tariffs and the fact that Trump unilaterally launched a global trade war. He didn't just say we're going to focus on steel or this particular industry. He literally created a trade war with every single country in the world. Number five, ignoring a Supreme Court order. Not just any order, a Supreme Court order. The court ruled unanimously, 9-0, that there must be due process. You can't just have zero process removals. It's unconstitutional. Number six, switching sides in a war. Trump decided in the middle of a war to switch sides. We've been supporting Europe, Eastern Europe, Ukraine against Putin's aggression. Trump is now appeasing Putin. So instead of helping our allies, the democracies of the world, Trump is now working with Putin. You can't appease a dictator. You have to stand up to a dictator. Ukraine has to win this war. Number seven, Defense Department mayhem. Arguably the last department you want to hear the word mayhem. The clock is ticking on this administration to fire Pete Hegseth, period. Number eight, destroying Social Security. The Social Security Administration relies on staff. They are indiscriminately firing staff. The Social Security Administration relies on offices all over the country. They're closing down offices all over the country. They are trying to undermine Social Security, make it harder for people to get Social Security benefits. Number nine, adding trillions to our debt. They've got this budget which is spending trillions of dollars, mostly on tax cuts for the uber wealthy, and they're paying for it by adding trillions to the deficit and cutting healthcare, which is number 10. Number 10, taking healthcare away from tens of millions of people. In order to pay for tax cuts for the super wealthy, they're going to try to cut nearly $1 trillion in healthcare. If they do, rural hospitals will close. Doctors will have to close their practices. Long-term care facilities may close. Children and families and people with disabilities will lose their health insurance. Congress has to be the firewall. We're going to have to stop all of this, starting with this budget. The impact of the first 100 days has been huge and very, very bad. I want to hear from you what you think the top three most devastating decisions have been.
How do you feel Donald Trump has done in his first 100 days in office?
I mean, as the meme goes, this is what I voted for. People have a very interesting way where they'll remember the one thing they don't like and forget magically the 9 things that went well. The border's closed. Illegal crime is substantially down because illegals are now afraid of being arrested. We're seeing punishment for some of these sort of terror-supporting various students that are magically students into their 30s for 10 years at a time. As far as the markets go, the markets are, as I understand them, a reflection of where people believe things may be headed or things may be worth. They're not actualized losses. The tariffs are part of his plan, as will the tax cuts that I expect will be coming soon. But people don't talk about the fact that prices are down, be it eggs or be it fuel or groceries for that matter, or inflation for that matter. It's just, isn't it amazing that the people who a year ago were saying how the stock market is for horrible fascist capitalist pigs are now extremely worried about the stock market in which they own no stocks? Fascinating. Isn't that fascinating?
Hey y'all, so Trump has officially completed his first 100 days in office, and if you ask me, that was really fast and chaotic. So what do you think about the first 100 days? Has it been good? Has it been bad? You know, do you feel like he has delivered on the promises that he made, or do you think that we're just watching the circus unfold in real time? I really want to know what you guys think. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, your unfiltered real talk, right? Tell me exactly what you think about Trump's first 100 days. And credit to all creators on this video. And thank you for tapping in, and let's keep watching what people have to say about this.
Well, we're officially 100 days into the Trump presidency, and President Trump is coming here to Michigan to mark the occasion. When he arrives, he will be the most unpopular president at the 100-day mark in modern history. And I think we all know why. He came to power pointing to a number of problems, many of them very real in this country, and promised that he was going to quickly and easily solve them. And instead, those problems have gotten worse on his watch. Take the economy. Any way you measure the economy, whether it's by prices or by jobs or by consumer confidence or his favorite, the stock market, all of those measures are worse than they were 100 days ago. Same thing with government efficiency. And a lot of us agree across party lines that the government needs to be shaken up to become more efficient, to serve people better, but that's not what we're seeing. Whether you look at VA service or wait times to get help at Social Security or so many other measures of whether the government's doing a good job, it's gotten worse. And of course, we have seen basic American constitutional rights and freedoms trampled on again and again. But the main thing I wanted to mention is that this unpopularity, this turning that's happening among the American people, isn't just the result of his failures. It's in many ways the result of your successes. From people taking to the streets to voices and institutions in civil society standing up for American freedom, even Americans showing up at town halls, getting Republican members of Congress who have not been the best at listening these last few months or years, getting them to stop and pay attention. All of that is clearly having a major effect. So please keep it up. And at the same time, we recognize that no matter how important good opposition is, there's more to this moment than just opposition. We need to be lifting up and seeking out the voices that are helping make sense of this moment and pointing toward a better future. It is not an easy time for our country. It's not easy to be an American right now. But here at the 100-day mark, with all of the problems our country is facing, I'm also seeing a lot of evidence that so many Americans are ready to meet this moment. This is certainly a test of our country. I believe that we will meet that test and even make ourselves proud of what we did to guide America out of this moment into something much, much better.
Fox News just humiliated Donald Trump on accident in the most beautiful way. Now, today marks Donald Trump's 100th day in office, and he is out there along with his supporters trying to spin his disaster of an administration into a great success. Well, Fox News took part in that, and they put this graphic up. Take a look at this. Here are the accomplishments they came up with. Declassifying the JFK files, which is nothing, ending federal support for paper straws, and ending production of the penny. Imagine a president's first 100 days in office, and those are the items you feel you should put forward as his success. And Donald Trump is going to see this, and he is going to absolutely lose it, because he knows his supporters are going to look at that and cheer it on, but anybody who has any sense at all is going to look at that and laugh and say, my gosh, what has this guy actually done? Donald Trump's disaster of an administration has been on full display, and he is trying desperately to spin it, and Fox News is not helping.
This is what I would call a clapback. Yesterday marked President Trump's first 100 days in office, and all of mainstream media was reporting that he has the lowest polls ever in history. So today, the White House has put together pictures of every single illegal immigrant and criminal that this administration has arrested and or deported. As you can see here, there's a long line of them. It shows their picture blown up and underneath the crime that they committed. This is pretty incredible, and I believe the administration's way of saying, we don't care about your polling numbers. This is actually what this administration is doing for the country. We are getting rid of criminals. We are making this country safer. And look, now you can see it for yourself. So regardless what the poll numbers are saying, this is what we are actually doing.
Trump calls it a win, but 132 of his 140 orders are blocked or on hold. You're being lied to about Trump's first 100 days. Let's break it down. Yes, Trump signed over 140 executive orders, but here's the truth. 132 of them have already been blocked, paused, or are tied up in court. Signing a stack of papers doesn't mean you're actually fixing the country. While Trump is celebrating with photo ops, the economy is sliding, inflation is rising, small businesses are hurting, farmers and truckers are losing work because, well, bad trade policies, who saw that coming? And around the world, America's credibility is collapsing. Trump's so-called productivity is actually just chaos. And the courts are stopping him because so much of what he's doing is legally reckless. If you want full updates and the whole story, follow me on Instagram and Substack. I am posting everything that you need to know that is being hidden from you.
Isn't it amazing how after 100 days Trump did this much damage to the country while failing at his agenda? Cause yeah, he's arresting judges, ignoring the Supreme Court, starting tariff wars with bad math, laying off tens of thousands of federal workers, deporting people to overseas prisons before due process, while pardoning January 6th criminals after due process. All unpredictable crazy pants ways to own the libs, obviously, but he's also not lowering prices, ending inflation, or putting an end to the war in Ukraine. All things that he said he would implement immediately. He's ignoring the Constitution and the reasons he said you should vote for him. It's like if you were trying to buy a new blender and the box was like, okay, may start fires that burn down your house. Also not a blender. Okay, let's keep looking. This is why his merch is so especially stupid. You're walking around promoting a name that stands for nothing. Remember his first term? He didn't build the wall, drain the swamp, eliminate the debt, or fix healthcare. He was a reality show star, former Democrat who was pro-affirmative action and a woman's right to choose, who decided it would be easier to manipulate you with vibes than stand on consistent principles. That's the name you've got embroidered, probably by a machine in China, all over your body. And don't worry, if you ever forget how to spell it, you can just check the Epstein flight logs, because it shows up there too.
We're at Trump's 100-day celebration rally. They wanted to get Trump 2028 flags, but the tariffs were too high, apparently. I have been to over 40 different Trump rallies, and his 100-day celebration is easily the most empty rally I have ever seen. What are they celebrating? The tariffs are inflationary. Are they celebrating Pete Hegseth's signal leaks? Are they celebrating Canada being invaded? What the hell are these people celebrating?
We are 100 days into the Trump dystopian nightmare, so I'm going to give you 100 seconds of Donald Trump fails. Now, that's not a lot of time considering how many fails he's delivered, so let's fucking go. Right off the bat, he violated the Constitution by trying to invalidate birthright citizenship with a press release. He then illegally created Doge with another press release, then realized he couldn't create a department without Congress, so he let Doge take over the United States Digital Service, and fake renamed it the United States Doge Service and said Elon Musk was its leader, even though that was illegal, so he lied and then unlied and then lied again for weeks until they made up a new leader for Doge so they'd have a legal employee to scapegoat in the myriad lawsuits pending. Musk then illegally fired and rehired once he found their email addresses half the people they illegally fired, and the rest of their codified negligence is tied up in court. While Musk's $2 trillion in proposed cuts was reduced to $1 trillion, then reduced to $150 billion, then reduced to $4 billion, which is 0.2% of his original goal and only 10% of the tax dollars paid to Musk in federal contracts since his grift first began. Next, Trump said he was going to use tariffs to rebuild American manufacturing jobs, and he actually got some union endorsements for this, but then he rolled them all back or paused them and rewrote history saying this was just the art of the deal. But the deal was supposed to be to create jobs. Instead, his tariffs are costing us jobs, costing us economic growth, and oh yeah, since tariffs are import taxes paid by American business, we're literally using money from Trump inflation to buy job cuts for our friends and neighbors so we can lie and say the money is coming from foreign governments. And this is all going to destroy our GDP because like a snake trying to eat itself tail first to grow itself, you can't grow the economy by feeding the economy to itself. Now the last one is the worst one because Trump said he was going to mass deport 20 million people, which is focus camp level shit, but he couldn't do that because that kind of thing takes too much work, so he just started deporting people randomly to see what happened. As will happen with idiots, he shot the bed right out of the gate, deporting a legal resident and father of a special needs child, resulting in a 9-0 Supreme Court smackdown where even free Cruz, Clarence, and Stop This Steal Samuel said no. But because Trump is like a kid who, in response to burning his hand on a hot stove, climbs directly into the hot stove and turns the knob to 550 degrees, he then deported a 2-year-old U.S. citizen battling metastatic cancer. A sentence I would have never thought to be possible on any plane in the infinite multiverse, because not only is it insanely illegal by constitutional law, case law, and immigration law, it is absolutely fucking abhorrent behavior by any social, cultural, or universal moral standard. Donald is an abomination of a human being, and he's an even worse president. He signed more executive orders in 100 days than any president in American history, despite controlling every lever of power. He's violated court orders more than any other president in American history, despite having a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court. And he's deported more American citizens than any president in American history, despite his promise to voters to deport only undocumented violent criminals. In 100 days, he has the worst approval rating in 100 years because he's attacking our economy, our businesses, our workers, our citizens, our Constitution, and our courts, breaking everything and fixing nothing. Now, this is just for Donald. Donald, you are the worst president in American history, and you are one of the worst humans in American history. You deserve nothing that has been given to you, and I cannot wait until you are impeached one more time, because Donald, you know what they say. The third time's the charm.